This is a letter from Marcel Jean, one of the surrealists. I received your letter with the excerpts from critiques in the press. I am pleased that your remarkable exhibition has had such a success. The articles about it are very appreciative, and one would think that surrealism is finally absorbed and generally understood by the public at large. Not altogether a cheerful idea.
It's quite a large group.
From the curatorial
point of view,
it was a large group.
There was David Sylvester,
yes.
his idea, very much in charge of the
yes.
group. Alan Burness,
yes.
who was then director of the Tate.
Yes.
Roland Penrose,
leader of the surrealist movement in the UK.
Exactly. Roy Edwards, who was a wonderful poet and friend of Roland's.
And was a great friend of Roland's.
And then
Michael Compton
from Tate. John Golding from Courtauld. I think we were both PhD students at the Courtauld at the time. And so we were very much the junior members of a very distinguished panel.
What I do remember is a few meetings with all the curators together where it was very unstructured. And I remember sort of feeling there wasn't really anybody controlling me when it came to what I decided we had to try to borrow.
Well, there was a sort of view that one should ask for more than you were likely to get.
Yes.
Which actually turned out to be something of a false idea, because actually we got far more than
we were installing, and you didn't have room for everything.
Didn't have room for everything. No. I think we finally hung in threes.
That's right.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
Yes.
You know, and how many items were there? I mean,
well, there must have been 1,000.
I would think so.
It did give equal weight to things like photographs.
Yes, absolutely.
And manuscripts.
Manuscripts.
And objects, actually, found objects.
I think historically it made a sort of turning point in the way in which Dada and Surrealism were viewed.
Well, why don't we look at what it aims to do, It aims to put Dada and Surrealist painting, sculpture and graphics in the context of the movement's literary and ideological and filmmaking and taste-making activities. And its plan is based on the premise that the history of Dada and Surrealist art is written in the bibliography of Dada and Surrealist periodicals. And I totally agree with that.
Yes.
It was in the magazines that you saw the diversity of the Surrealist interests. And I remember actually being very insistent that what we were doing was actually trying to make it clear that Dada and Surrealism were more than art movements, that there was a great deal more to the whole thing than that. So the exhibition is to be divided into group shows, each under the banner of a periodical, and each group show will be contained within temporary walls, the outside of which will be covered by a montage of pages reproduced from the periodicals.
Yeah, we have some of Edward's drawings of these montage walls. I'm going to leave them on the middle there.
I can remember people standing in front of those montages.
Yes.
And kind of staring at them because they'd never seen this material before. And they'd never seen these magazines. They were not, generally speaking, illustrated at all in books on surrealism. And then, you know, staring up at them as if they were looking at some kind of iconostasis or something.
Yes.
You know?
I don't think I've seen these. There's a good one of your objects.
Those, yes. I was doing the chosen objects. And sometimes I do remember in the installation process having moments of absolute panic, thinking, what am I doing really? You know, handling these precious objects. But there wasn't really very much oversight. I mean, nowadays you would have people watching to make sure that nothing went wrong, and the installation process would be very slow and everything would be monitored. Well, that wasn't what happened at all. The Chagall had been installed, it had glazing. The team of installers was led by a very experienced guy, but he was doing another job and he disappeared that afternoon, leaving behind a young man, not very experienced, one of these pegs had to be inserted in the backboard of this cabinet. And behind it was the Chagall. The British Library arrived with some rare books and insisted I come with them. And I came back to see how the peg was going. And the man said to me, I've drilled a hole through the back and it's come through the other side of the painting on the back of, does it matter? And Roland Penrose was in a wheelchair.
Yes.
And he came down the ramp with David. And he said, thank God it isn't the Picasso.
Well, isn't that the Pollock?
Yes. So these are actually with the public in.
Public in there.
Inside.
Yes. And you see, look, what I do remember is hordes of school children at various occasions racing up and down one of the galleries past these sculptures which don't have any
kind of barrier
around them at all.
And no box over them.
No box. So they were on slightly shaky pedestals. I remember watching these school children running up and down. Please don't bump into that. It is a rather precious plaster.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Mm. I mean, it's so nice to see the bicycle wheel without a large case over it, isn't it? I mean,
it's wonderful.
It looks ridiculous when it's behind her.
But it was very, very crowded. I mean,
well, look at that wall
how
of the curators.
densely hung. I mean, an incredible collection of things.
Paintings, drawings, photos, photo montages.
Yeah, it is extraordinary. Mm-hmm. This is wonderful, though, here. This is a review in the Evening News. Almost 200,000 people visited the Dada and Surrealists Reviewed exhibition.
Yes,
I mean,
they never got
it really, no.
Certainly there were some strange people who went to the exhibition.
Yes.
Visitors copied Marcel Duchamp's practice of signing ready-mades. In direct imitation, one gentleman signed a urinal. Others tried to extend the genre by signing lights, doorknobs and other functional works of art. One person found a new potential in a toilet bowl by filling it with purple fiberglass.
Oh, so maybe it wasn't
confirming
concrete.
to other visitors that Dada activists are all very well as long as they don't cause inconvenience during a visit to an art gallery. So clearly, I think, probably, Duchamp was more of a provocation than most of the surrealist things.
Yes, yes.
This is the one of the reviews.
Yes.
The organisers have obviously bitten off more than they can chew. The exhibition is more than anyone can chew, at least on one visit. It is too big, it is indigestible, you get more from a second visit. But it is unwise to assume that most people will or can go twice. I remember this review now. The Hayward Show is a coffee table book with excellent illustrations but poor text. It continues until March the 27th.
Ooh!
Here's a lovely review from John Russell, and I must say I'm glad John Russell liked it. I'm more glad he did than Paul Overy didn't like it. Dada Surrealism Reviewed is both an act of love and a contribution to the history of ideas.
It's essential to keep all these materials and preserve them.
Because also an archive, you never know what people are going to want to know in the future. We can't sort of second guess.
No, not at all.
What the future will need or be interested in. So one should archive.
You keep it all.